those Valkyries do it again, Morgan Reagan. They go on the road. Caitlin Clark's return for the Fever, and they smash Indiana again, 80-61. I know it was an early game, weird 9 a.m. West Coast start. What stood out to you about what the Valkyries were able to do in this one?
So many different things. I mean, they're coming off a game where it felt like they made so many mistakes, and the Atlanta Dream capitalized off of all their mistakes. This one, they still ended up with 17 turnovers.
Yeah, I've accepted that they're just going to have like 17 to 20 turnovers every day. I don't like that,
No.
but I feel like this team just does that. And so they're going to have to do other things to win games.
Well, and only 6 points were scored off those turnovers for the Fever, and that's where they were getting back in transition. But the main thing that stood out to me today was Veronica Burton, her entire stat line, what she was capable of doing. She had 5 3-pointers. She was 5 of 6 from beyond the arc. So she was making her shot from deep, a career high 5, by the way, finishing with 21 points. But then go down the list, 6 assists, finding her teammates, getting into the paint, whether she was taking it to the hole or finding the open man, and then 8 rebounds, crashing the boards. It was just a beautiful game from her.
It was just a tough game. And Burton is kind of the epitome of that toughness, too. And I think it's one of my favorite things about this Valkyries team as a whole is like you look at this roster and, you know, they're players from other teams that maybe weren't getting the opportunity. And here they are now getting a crazy opportunity.
Yeah.
And not only it's like, oh, they're competitive. It's like, no, they're winning games. They're 10-9 here. All right. They just got a big road win. And someone like Veronica Burton, who everyone like tries to like put this label on players.
She's a defender.
She's a defender. Like, she's a good role player coming off the bench. Look, she's been the starting point guard on this team, and she's taken some tough assignments. She plays with physicality. You know, she doesn't always make shots. This team really doesn't always make shots.
No.
It seems like, though, the confidence continues to go up with this group. And to see her knock down shots and play with an edge, I feel like that's the thing that always jumps out to me with her is like she is playing with an edge and force on both ends. She had defensively, sure, but it's her ability to get to the line. It's playing physical, and I love that. And this team, this game today was a complete team win. It was like the epitome of Golden State Valkyries basketball on both ends.
The balanced scoring, right, with everyone.
Yeah.
The bench points, 23 bench points. But going back to what Veronica Burton did, because I always feel like when there's one player on this team, especially from the starting unit, and there's been so many different starting units with this squad, with people at Eurobasket, injuries, blah, in and out, just Natalie Nakase trying new things. It feels like one person can set the tone. The person that has set the tone every single game or the most consistent would be like Kayla Thornton. But there's so many different games where it's Tiffany Hayes, where it's Veronica Burton. And today was Veronica Burton's day. She set that tone, especially when it felt like they were going down. They went on a huge run right before the half, and they had these moments where they just fed off each other. The energy was contagious.
This is one of those wins that I feel like is, I don't know. I'm not trying to make too much of it because it is one game. No, but they hadn't been playing great on the road in terms of closing games, right? And it's like, man, they let some moments like fall apart down the stretch in these games. And I thought in this one today, it looked like it was fragile in that third quarter, right? Because you mentioned the end of the first half, they close on a 20-9 push, and then they get up 15 points in the third, and you're like, God, are they going to run away with it? All of a sudden, the Fever start getting some stops, start making some shots, and they cut it to 5, and you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be a tight one. We're going to learn about this group a little bit. But then to see the response by the end of the quarter, I think they're up like 13-14 again. I'm like, wow, okay, this is growth from a team on the road in an environment that had extra juice today, right? Caitlin Clark is back. They've got this firepower. They had that win. I know they're coming off the loss to Los Angeles, but before that, beating Minnesota in the Commissioner's Cup. Like, there's a little juice in the building. So to see the Valkyries come out that way, I don't know, it felt like a learning experience and some growth. A tough road win today.
Pedal to the metal. They didn't look back, and they were doing all the little things, even in those moments when they had a good enough lead. It felt like at times in that third quarter, they were like, okay, well, how can I get an extra deflection? How can I keep being physical with Caitlin Clark? Their ability to slow down Caitlin Clark in the first game, the first matchup, Caitlin Clark had 11 points. In this game, she had 10. She was 0 for 7 from 3 in that first matchup weeks ago. Today, she was 2 of 5 from 3-point land.
I thought that's one area they did a really good job of was attacking her defensively, and it's an area of her game she's going to have to show growth in.
Absolutely.
But she's also just coming back, first game back after missing 5 games.
She'll be good.
Like she's going to be fine. But I think the Valkyries have done a good job on her defensively. And even with that said, she still makes a lot of things happen out there.
Yeah.
You're like, how did you make that shot or make that pass? But 2 games against her. They've done really well against her, and they understand, like, all right, let's take advantage of maybe some of these matchups we have on the other end. You talk about the defense on Clark. I thought the story is what they did against Aaliyah Boston, who is such a tough player. I mean, I'm watching that Commissioner's Cup game go at Collier with ease, and you're like, dude, this was incredible
they were going
stuff.
at it.
Yeah, and she plays with such physicality, and I thought the Valkyries did such a good job with their physicality in the paint. We're talking about someone who leads the WNBA in points per game at about 12, 13 a game, right? I think she had 4 in this game.
Yeah, in
this
the paint.
team, the Fever, by the way, number 1 in points in the paint per game. Valkyries hold them in check, and that's what they've done all year. They held them to 26 points in the paint, and that's kind of what the Valkyries do. Their average, right?
Yeah.
They allow the fewest points in the paint per game. So the Valkyries, this team, look, I know, like, I started following them closely because they're in Northern California. Now all of a sudden I'm doing the radio broadcast for games this year, which I'm super excited about. But it's such an easy team to root for because they just play team basketball, and what they do is like, we're going to defend, and that's our idea. We are going to defend and make life tough, and we're going to live with the results because we think if we play good defense, it's going to allow us to get some good looks offensively.
And making life tough, you go back to Aaliyah Boston.
Man,
not only what she can do in the paint, but she's super efficient. Usually, she's the most efficient in the league. Like
she took 8 shots. That's all.
She's shooting 60% from the field this season, the number 1 in the league. And it was the disruption that you're talking about. It was their ability to throw a second person down and still be able to recover, take away her game, disrupt, but then recover on your player. Because against the Atlanta Dream,
I was just going to say that
they didn't do it as well.
Against Jones, they were throwing doubles, and like it was just they were getting picked apart.
Yep.
Like Jones, like, oh, kick out, let's move that ball around. I felt like the multiple efforts were there. It was just a great team win against a Fever team that's one of the best shooting teams in the WNBA. You hold them to just under 31% from the field, 6 of 27 from 3. So it's one of those wins that you may look back on and go, oh man, this is kind of when they figured out on the road. Now, I understand. Now they got to go on the road and play the Aces, and then you come home for Phoenix, and you go at Seattle. It's not going to get any easier, but this team, it seems like we go through these phases where it's like, hey, this could start. They're competitive in every game. And then we're going, okay, they're losing all these players to Eurobasket. This is when it really starts to fall apart. And it didn't fall apart. And now you're easing some of these players back into the fold from Eurobasket, and they're still like, oh, they're figuring out. It's like, no, this is just a good team. And the way it's looking right now is they're going to be in the mix for a playoff spot, which for an expansion team is just unbelievable and speaks volumes to the job that Natalie Nicasio has done.
Well, and I think that's going to be the most difficult thing, if you want to call it difficult or challenging or whatever you want, for Natalie Nicasio, with all these players coming back into the fold from Eurobasket, is trying to find time and opportunities for them, because before they left, they were playing well together. So then when these Eurobasket players left, it was like, okay, what is it going to look like without them? The people that were here found, and it was really good basketball. So then how do you incorporate the people that started off the season so well back into it to still see successful basketball? She has challenges that she needs to figure out with that. I felt like today she really found the groove and the rhythm for them. That's why we saw such balanced scoring going down the list. Kayla Thornton had 18 points. Veronica Burton, like we mentioned, with 21.
Everyone who played scored.
Yes.
Everyone who played scored today. And you're right, it was a balance. I like how the bench played. It feels like they've got some legitimate depth now, right?
Yeah.
Like, Zandalacini doesn't play. They're still trying to ease her back into things after Eurobasket. Talbot didn't play today. But like, I thought Caitlin Shen came in. I'm like, dude, you bring the juice. Like, she's just so stable.
Every time.
Like, she went at Caitlin Clark a couple of times. Like, okay, you got a couple of dimes too. I thought Salon, even coming in, just rebounding, she's not making her shot right now.
No.
And you hope that comes. She's got to get some more arc on that for sure. But I just seeing her size back out there. You're, God, this bench is legit too.
Yeah, and just making smart moves whenever they got Caitlin Clark switched on her. She was like, all right, I'm going to go to the basket. All right, I'm going to post up, see what I can do. I just feel like everything is with this intention. Everything's intentional, right? With the cut, it's with a purpose. When someone's moving without the basketball, when someone's going through a DHO action, like you can tell the way that their brains are moving. They go, we're not just going to waste our time and go through the motions and do this. They do it with intention, and it has created such beautiful basketball. And today it created another dominant win for the Valkyries.
And another good 3-point shooting night. 37.5% from three, 12 made threes. And also, I didn't love all of them. I do think that they, for the most part, generate really good looks from three. And we know they take the most threes in the league. They're near the bottom in percentage. But they're going to live with like, hey, we're going to get good looks. It's just, I don't love the quick looks. I think, getting that ball rotating, which they did a few times today. And it was beautiful. When
they generate a three with someone getting in the paint, you're right. Or going through the full action of someone cutting through.
One of the ones today that was, I forget who hit the three, but it all started because Fag Benley was doubled.
That makes
sense. She kicked it out, and they just swung it around the horn, led to an open corner three.
They play such smart basketball. So, I mean, it's been so fun to watch. And I think today when you see a dominant performance, I know for me, usually I get bored when it's like one team just starts dominating. It's been every time, it's the Valkyries just don't stop. They don't slow down. And I think that's what's made it so exciting in a dominant performance.
Yeah, now we'll see what they look like in Vegas. We're going to be at that game because we're going to NBA Summer League. Yeah! Watch our Kings play. So that game is that's going to be fun because it's like a day where 1 o'clock, we got Valkyries Aces. I think the Kings play at 4 or 5. Okay. And then Backstreet's back. All right.
Oh, that wasn't bad for you.
Backstreet Boys at the Sphere?
Yeah, Backstreet Boys at the Sphere. That's a full Vegas Summer League day.
Yeah, and it's something you may go, Backstreet Boys? Are you a big Backstreet Boys fans? No. But last year, I went to the Sphere for the first time during Summer League, and I saw Dead and Company. And now I'm a Deadhead for life.
It's an out-of-body experience.
So I might be a Backstreet Boy for life.
Really?
Yeah.
If you could be one Backstreet Boy, who would you be? I don't even know the names. I don't even know their names.
AJ, Nick. Is Kevin one?
Oh, yeah. I think Kevin is one. Yeah, I did.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's going to be fun.
So
anyway, if you've been locked in watching the Valkyries, put your fees up. Let us know how you're feeling about the Golden State Valkyries. To me, it's one of the best stories in sports this year.
Hell yeah.
They were projected to win like 5.5 games by Vegas. They're at 10.
It's beautiful.
Expansion teams don't do this. Actually, the note that I saw in this, Morgan, the last, with its 10th victory in its 19th game of the year, Golden State becomes the third WNBA expansion team all time to reach 10 wins in 20 or fewer games. You got to go back to the 1999 Minnesota Lynx and the 1998 Detroit Shock.
Wow.
Anyway. Wow. We're going to have a ton of content. Drop your thoughts below. We got more content, W content, NBA Summer League content, Kings content. We're basketball sickos. So hit the thumbs up and subscribe.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast